Chapter 505 to 506 Deng Shintong. After entering the bar, Zhang Yi felt the chaotic atmosphere inside. The smell of alcohol filled the air, and the man's hearty laughter was particularly clear. But the waitress in red took Zhang Yi to an elevator. Seeing Zhang Yi's puzzled eyes, the lady in red smiled and said, "The first floor is for ordinary customers, and the upper floors are for VIP customers. After all, those big shots with status and position can't drink in a noisy place like ordinary people, right?" Zhang Yi smiled and said, "The hierarchy is really strict." The lady in red covered her mouth and chuckled. Of course, no matter when, social stratification is an inevitable event. A strange light flashed in her eyes. With her experience of seeing countless people, she could naturally see that Zhang Yi was extraordinary. Although Zhang Yi did not have the demeanor of a nobleman, his calm attitude did not seem to be disguised at all. I think he must be an experienced man. As a waitress here, she would not miss any opportunity to please the big shots. I just hope that one day I can climb up the ladder and become someone who can live in Area A. You look unfamiliar. You must have just come here from the outside world, right? She asked with a smile. Zhang Yi's mouth curled up slightly, but he just smiled faintly, but did not answer her question. Inquire about his information? Do you really think he is a novice? Zhang Yi has always been strictly confidential about his personal information and will not easily reveal it to anyone. Seeing that Zhang Yi ignored her, the waitress's smile became more intense, but a fleeting displeasure flashed in the depths of her eyes. Soon, the elevator stopped on the 13th floor. The waitress smiled and stretched out her hand and said, "We are here. The person waiting for you is here. Please, sir." Zhang Yi put his hands in his pockets, nodded politely to her and walked out of the elevator. He thought he would see the familiar face of Bailey Chongqing. But he didn't expect that after walking out of the elevator door, he entered a very large and empty room. In the middle of the room was a chair, on which sat a man with long silver hair and a handsome and strange appearance. He held a glass of red wine in his hand, sitting lazily on the gorgeous chair, looking at Zhang Yi with a smile like a gentleman. Zhang Yi had a puzzled look on his face when he saw him. He had clearly come here to find Bailey Chongqing, so how come there was a strange man or woman in front of him? He looked around in surprise and made sure that there was no one else in the room. He said embarrassedly, "Sorry, the waiter seems to have taken me the wrong way. I'll leave now." But at this time, the man spoke, and it was the man's voice. "No, you didn't go to the wrong place. I asked her to take you here." Zhang Yi's eyes flashed. "Oh, but I don't seem to know you." The man said to himself, "Your name is Zhang Yi, right? A person who can be personally received by Bailey Chongqing should still have some ability." At this point, he spread his hands. "Of course, I don't particularly recognize him as the captain. It's just that I have heard a little about you." Zhang Yi's expression became serious. The other party's tone was a bit loud, and he didn't take Bailey Chongqing seriously. Moreover, he dared to cross Bailey Chongqing and let someone bring him here. I wonder what his intentions are. Could it be that he knows his background? "Who are you?" The handsome man glanced at Zhang Yi, his peach-like slender eyes with a playful smile. "You should have heard of my legend. My name is Deng Shintong." Zhang Yi. He didn't know where the man in front of him got his confidence from. But when the other party spoke, that kind of confidence was about to overflow. As if knowing his name was a matter of course. Zhang Yi had to smile awkwardly. "I have heard of you for a long time." But this perfunctory tone obviously made Deng Shintong very dissatisfied. His face changed, and he frowned and said, "You haven't heard of my name?" Zhang Yi didn't want to talk nonsense with this person. He brought him here without his permission, delayed his search for Bailey Chongqing, and was still being self-indulgent here. It was really perverted. "I'm not from Blizzard City. What's so strange about not having heard of your name? I still have to meet my friends, so I won't accompany you for long." After Zhang Yi said this, he was ready to turn around and leave. But the next moment, a hand suddenly rested on his shoulder. Zhang Yi's eyes tightened, and he instinctively chopped out with his backhand, but was easily blocked by the other party. "Don't be nervous. I just want to see who Bailey Chongqing's guest is." When Zhang Yi turned around, he saw his appearance. It was Deng Shintong himself. But Zhang Yi turned back in surprise and saw Deng Shintong sitting on a chair, drinking red wine elegantly. Twins. Deng Shintong did not answer Zhang Yi's words. It was just that at this time, two people spoke at the same time, saying the same words. The voice echoed in the air, and suddenly it seemed as if countless people spoke at the same time. Originally, there were only two figures in the room, but suddenly they turned into 10, 20. They all looked the same, and the voices were erratic and no one knew where they came from. Zhang Yi had no idea what the other party's ability was, and he became more cautious. I heard that you are a space-based alien. Can you let me see your ability? I really need such a member in my team. If your ability is good, I can consider letting you be a substitute for the God team. Zhang Yi was a little angry at this time. The man in front of him maintained a high profile from beginning to end. Moreover, he spoke to Zhang Yi arrogantly, but ignored Zhang Yi's thoughts at all. Although he didn't know what the other party's ability was, Zhang Yi was never a person who could be easily manipulated. There was a glimmer in his right eye. He was ready to distance himself and then defend and counterattack. If necessary, it was not impossible to launch a divine power at this distance. Just when the situation was tense, the elevator door suddenly opened. Bailey Chongqing's sturdy body hurried out. Zhang Yi, why are you here? Come back with me. I'm waiting for you to drink. He walked over with a smile and put his arm around Zhang Yi's shoulders. Deng Shintong saw Bailey Chongqing coming, and his eyes were a little disappointed. He said lightly, Bailey Chongqing, I found your friend very interesting and want to chat with him. You don't mind, right? Bailey Chongqing scratched his head honestly. Ha ha ha, Captain Deng is actually interested in my friend, it's his honor. But his eyes narrowed slightly. At least you should tell me in advance about this kind of thing, right? After all, we are all captains of the investigation team. Isn't it a bit against the rules for you to do this? Captain? Deng Shintong's mouth curled up slightly, with obvious contempt. If it was Bian Junwu who said this, I might give him some face. But your strength doesn't seem to be enough. Being mocked by Deng Shintong in person, Bailey Chongqing was immediately angry, and an astonishing aura was released from him. Deng Shintong, are you going to make a big fuss in Blizzard City? This chapter ends here. Please like and subscribe for more content. Thanks.